Hello everyone, so this is the new video and this time the video is for class 11 students. I have been receiving messages that they want their content also, so this video is totally for you people. Now today I'm going to explain you a poem from your syllabus, and the name of the poem is A Photograph, which is written by Shirley Toulson. Now in this poem, what happens, the poet is looking at an old photograph in an old album which is made up of cardboard. The album is made up of cardboard, and in the photograph you can see that the poet saw that there were three girls which were holding hands of each other, and it looked like they were walking on the beach because the environment was of the beach location. Now the poet tells us that the girl in the middle was the tallest and the oldest one, and she was none other than the poet's mother. She was 12 years old when that photograph was clicked, and now they are telling us that the photograph was clicked by none other than the poet's mother's uncle. Not the poet's uncle, her mother's uncle. He took the photograph. So while taking the photograph, he asked the girls to stop and pose for the photograph. Now all the three girls had wet hair because they were on the beach. So yeah, definitely their hair were wet, so they left their wet hair open and they just smiled for the photograph. Now what happens is the poet's attention is totally towards her mother's face, which she has described as a sweet face. I hope this much was clear to you people. Now what happens next is the poet tells us that the photograph which she is seeing was taken before her birth. Then the poet tells us that she has described the girls' feet, all the three girls' feet, as terrible transient. Transient means temporary, because earlier the girls were young and now they all have grown older. She also compared them with the sea, that the sea that touched their feet has changed less, but these three girls have changed more as they have grown up. Now, after 20-30 years, the poet's mother also laughs when she sees the photograph, and she told her daughter, that means the poet, to look at her cousins, the other two girls, and the name of the other two girls are Betty and Dolly. She also asked the poet to look how their parents dressed them for the beach, as they might have planned that they would get a photograph of all the three girls beforehand. Means earlier they must have planned that they will get a photograph of all the three girls. Now the poet also recalls the sea holiday, as it was her mother's favorite moment in the past. Like in the past time, it was a favorite moment that she has spent in her life. Whereas, according to the poet, her favorite moment from the past was her mother's laughter. Now, in the poem, it is also said that both the poet and her mother tried their very best to adjust with what they had lost. Now, what they had lost? The mother had lost her young age, now she has grown older, and the poet has lost her mother. Yes, right? The poet tells us that in the last that her mother died 12 years ago. That is the same age, the same number of years that her mother was when she was in that photograph, when that photograph had been taken up. Now, whenever she thinks of her mother's death, she can't explain that feeling, that grief, and what kind of effect that has been on her because of her mother's death. Whenever someone leaves us, whenever there is a demise in our family or in our relatives, we feel so lost. Not only us, everyone feels that something has finished, something has gone, and that loss that everyone feels is something which cannot be described in words simply. And in the last, the poet also tells us that death has silenced her mother because she is no more. And also, death has left the poet speechless, because whenever she thinks of that moment, she feels, disheartened and upset, and she feels like she is not having any kind of words to express her sorrow. So this was the explanation of the poem. I hope you have understood. If you find any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. Thank you everyone.